Spartacus. The name strikes fear into the hearts of Romans everywhere. This is a story from the history of Rome. The year is 73 BC, the Roman Republic is at its peak, but in the farthest reaches of the empire. In the province of Capua, a slave named Spartacus is about to ignite a firestorm that will shake the foundations of Rome. Our story begins as Spartacus's father, also named Spartacus, is a respected warrior in his Thracian tribe. But one day the proud warrior makes the mistake of his life. He leads his tribe in an attack on the encroaching army of Rome as punishment for their defeat. He and his family are sold into slavery. Separated from his family, Spartacus finds himself alone in the brutal world of Roman slavery. Years of toil and abuse follow, but Spartacus never loses hope of one day regaining his freedom and avenging his people. One day, while training in the fighting pits of Capua, Spartacus meets a fellow slave named Crixus. Together they plot their escape and flee into the mountains, where they gather a small group of followers. Soon Spartacus is ready to take the fight to Rome itself. And with a rebel army now at his command, he marches his men into the heart of Italy. At first, Spartacus's army is made up of runaway slaves like him. But as the fighting continues and Rome's legions are unable to stop him, more and more former Roman soldiers join his banner. Now that his army is growing by the day, Spartacus needs a place to train his troops and establish a base of operations. So he heads south to the dormant volcano Mount Vesuvius, where he trains his men in guerrilla tactics and forges alliances with local Italian tribes. For 3 years, Spartacus and his army roam free, pillaging on Roman supply lines and striking fear into the hearts of the ruling class. In fact, the Romans are so afraid of Spartacus and his army of rebels that they refuse to even utter his name, referring to him only as the Gladiator. But not everyone in Rome is happy with the status quo. A former Roman general named Marcus Licinius Crassus has long been envious of the power and glory of his fellow generals, Pompey and Crassus. When news reaches him that Spartacus has been ravaging the countryside, he sees his chance to finally win some glory for himself. With a massive army at his command, Crassus sets out to put down the rebellion once and for all. At the same time, word of Spartacus's rebellion reaches the ears of a Roman senator named Cicero. Cicero had always opposed the expansion of the Roman Republic, and now saw in Spartacus a chance to depose his political rivals and bring stability to Rome. So Cicero uses all of his influence to get Crassus appointed as the sole general of Rome's armies, with orders to crush the rebellion. Now, while Crassus is marching on Spartacus's base at Mount Vesuvius, the rebel leader knows that a direct confrontation with the Roman army is a losing battle. So instead, he leads his army on a series of hit-and-run missions, striking supply depots and harassing the Roman troops. But it's only a matter of time before Spartacus's army is worn down. Finally, the day of the confrontation arrives. Spartacus's army is vastly outnumbered, but the rebels are fighting with the fury of men who have nothing left to lose. Despite their best efforts, Spartacus's forces are eventually overwhelmed, and he is forced to flee with only a small group of his closest friends and allies. But the Romans are merciless, and soon the entire group is captured. In the end, Spartacus and his fellow rebels are crucified along the Appian Way, the road that leads to Rome, but their sacrifice does not go in vain. The memory of Spartacus and his army lives on in the hearts of the people of Rome, inspiring them to fight for their freedom. So what can we learn from the story of Spartacus? First, never give up hope, no matter how dire your circumstances may seem. Secondly, even the most powerful empires are not invincible. And finally, the courage of a few can inspire the masses. What do you think? Is Spartacus a hero or a villain?
Oh.
And be sure to subscribe for more historical tales. Thanks for watching.